Hey guys, it's Lori. How are you today? Today is May 14th, 2019. And it snowed last night in New Hampshire and parts of Vermont. I don't know if it snowed in your end of the world. I know some people are having 80-degree weather. It's supposed to be 80 here on Monday. I don't know. Welcome to New England, right? So I did a video the other day on kids and the words that we say to kids and how it creates their story. Have you ever heard of people talking to you about your story? I talk a lot about soul wounds. Soul wounds are pretty much, they come from your story. Okay, we all have a story. First and foremost, I want to say, don't be ashamed of your story. I see that so often. I saw it in myself along my spiritual growth, along my journey. I've seen it in other people. I've talked to clients, friends, my sister. It's like a shame of your story. So what you do is and I'm not saying you have to go around and tell everybody your story. There's other people who do that too. So there's like different parts. Like some people, have you ever met somebody who, it doesn't matter if you're a complete stranger, they want to tell you all about everything they've been through and all of that. And then there's the opposite. And when I say there's a shame about your story, I don't necessarily mean you say that. What you do is you go along your life and you just never mention it, and that's okay. That doesn't mean there's shame, but you don't mention it because of shame. You see yourself in a way that you're permanently broken, so you have to hide that from the world and put on this big facade, and that's not healthy. Okay? And if you find yourself doing that, there's shame in your story, you know? And again, I don't mean you have to go and tell everybody your story. You don't. You don't. It's nobody's business. But if you can't even look at it yourself and say, it is what it is, I can't do anything about it, okay? So that's where there's a problem. So we live in past, present, future, right? So we live in the present. The past is gone. We cannot change it, okay? We can change our perspective of it. We can change the effects of it, but we cannot change it. Say hi to Boo Baby. Look at that. It's like perfect eye. That's awesome. And the future doesn't exist yet. So we can think about it. We can put stuff out there. We can put energy out there to meet us at that place. But in this physical realm, the only thing that exists is right now, this second, right now. So living in the now. How come we let our past affect us so much? Why do we do that? Well, it's because we all have our own story, and how does our story affect us? That's what I want to talk about. And I'm going to try not to talk your ears off. All right, I'll be right back. Hi guys, it's Lori. Okay, I'm going to do this in two parts because I don't want the video to be too long. So the whole series basically is called Changing Your Story, how to do it. So part one, identifying your story. Identify the parts of your story that hold you back. Okay, so we all have, like I said before, we all have a history. We all have a past from the time of conception to today. We've been writing this story. We've been living this story, okay? And it doesn't matter if the story is necessarily the truth, because our memories, so our subconscious mind just kind of soaks up everything, good, bad, and indifferent. Doesn't judge, doesn't discern, doesn't say, nope, don't want this, don't want that. It just kind of soaks up everything, and this story is created. Okay, so the stories that hold you back usually manifest themselves as like feelings. Okay, remember I talk about soul wounds an awful lot. Soul wounds and your story go together. They go hand in hand. Your story actually creates the soul wounds. Okay, so those feelings that manifest are from the wounds that are created from the story. Old stories are like parasites. They're like leeches on your energy field that are sucking, draining, just pulling all this energy out of you, draining you, and making it sometimes impossible to move forward. Now, whether you've had what we would consider, or society would consider a wonderful childhood, a wonderful upbringing, a wonderful life thus far, or whether you had the worst of the worst of the worst kinds of abuse perpetrated against you, or anywhere in between, we all have a story. Even those who were blessed with lots of love and that kind of thing, they still have a story that they live by. And there still could be some negatives in there holding you back. It could be something somebody said, it could be an event that happened later. We all have something, okay? Nobody has lived the absolute perfect life. By the grace of God, some people have been absolutely blessed, and that's wonderful. But even so, like I said, there's always good, bad, and the ugly, right? Okay, so before we even start to do this, we have to look at the 3 types of stories about our past, present, and future, okay? Because along the way, even though we only live in today, now's the only thing that's real, we have stories concerning our past, our present, and our future, right? So, and they're broken down in 3 different parts. Okay, so 1 is stories about yourself, stories about who you are. 2, stories about other people, other people in your life. And number 3, the world or life in general. Okay? So just for a minute, sit back and just think about, what do you think about yourself? Okay, because let me just give you an example of a story that could be holding you back about yourself. Okay, so the story leads to the false belief. The false belief is what leads to holding you back. So let me show you how this can happen. Just for an example about yourself. Okay, I was born into a poor family. Before that, my parents were poor. It's a cycle. It continues over and over and over again. And I'm just not going to get out of it. I'm always going to be poor. No matter what I do, no matter what I try, blocks are always there. I'm just never going to have any money. Okay, so that's one way that your story about yourself could affect your belief and become a false belief. Another one could be everybody in my family is an alcoholic. I started drinking and I became an alcoholic. It's just the way it is. My children are alcoholics. It's a vicious cycle that never ends. Again, right? So you get the gist of it, right? Okay, other people, let's see. My parents never really loved me. And everybody I meet in my life doesn't really love me. Every relationship I have, they're just all emotionally distant. Nobody really loves me, which again leads back to you. Therefore, I'm unlovable, right? Or people don't love people, right? And the world or life in general, same kind of thing. This is a big one that a lot of people, life isn't fair. Who said it was going to be fair? It's never fair. People are horrible. No, you can't trust anybody. It's shown throughout history. I've never been able to trust anybody. Therefore, the whole world is untrustworthy. You see? So life in general, or whatever. Or life, some people believe life is not meant to be enjoyed. Whatever the case may be. A lot of people believe, you have to work hard in order to have anything in this world. Blah, blah, blah. On and on and on. You get the gist of it, right? Okay, so what are you going to do about it? So this is only part 1, identifying your story. So how do you identify it? You might, even while listening to me, you might go, oh yeah, that's me. Just take some time when you have some time. I mean, I know we have busy lives, but we should be taking at least 5 minutes in the morning for ourselves anyway, 5 minutes at night. At the very least, we should be doing our checklist at night. See, are we in the right place? Are we going in the right direction? Are we, are our motives love? Are our motives pure? In the morning, we should be taking time anyway to raise our vibration, talk to God, start the day off with gratitude, right? So in this little bit of time, try to do this. Of course, do the breathing, deep breathe in, Count to 4. And do it again. And hold it. And do that 3 or 4 times until you really feel like you're in a good place. And then I want you to just kind of pay attention, take a mental note, write it down if you have to, but what are the feelings that arise? Is it heaviness? Is it depression? Is it, if I were to ask you in this state, who are you? And I don't mean like the typical job interview, who are you? But really, what feelings come? I don't want to hear like answers like, I am this and that. No, what feelings come? Do you feel worthless? Do you feel frustrated? Do you feel like you just can't ever be good enough? Whatever the feelings are, okay? And just sit with them. Don't judge them. There's no right or wrong. Just sit with them. And think about, okay, where'd that come from? Kind of go back in your memories to, your story, okay? Now, pick one, like, my mother always said that I'd never amount to anything, or whatever, okay? And this could take a few times, just kind of work on it a little bit. But whatever comes up, whatever the negative is, because the life stories, the stories that are holding you back are always the negative ones. The positive ones aren't going to hold you back. Unless they're sickly positive, like, I am the best, I am better than everyone else, If you have like a narcissistic syndrome or something, or God syndrome, well, maybe that's holding you back. But you know what I mean? Like the ones that are positive and loving and happy, those aren't holding you back. It's the ones where it creates a block. So go back into that, and it could take you a few times. But what I want you to do is when you're thinking about it, take that memory of, or that story of, so therefore I can never. So we'll get to the therefore part. I was raised poor, so therefore I can never keep a buck. I was told I'll never amount to anything, so therefore I will not. Whatever the case may be, okay? And the stories about yourself, the stories about other people, the stories about life in general. And I want you to just kind of change it, just tweak it a little bit. Write it down. For me, every time I write something down, it sticks in my subconscious mind and in my conscious mind. Okay? It really sticks. Some people, whatever is recorded, whether it's written down, whether it's spoken into a recorder, whatever is recorded, whether you tell another person. So if it goes out there and it's recorded in another person's mind, on an audio recorder, on a piece of paper, it's going to be, it's going to stick. It's going to be that much more powerful. I like to write things down. I know other people hate to write. So if you hate to write, speak into something, okay? Or if you have a accountability, manifesting partner, energy partner, then do this with a partner. But I tend to think these things are better, even if you're doing it with a partner, written down. But anyway, tweak it just a little bit. I'll just give you a for instance. I was raised in poverty. My parents before that were raised in poverty. Therefore, it taught me the value of money. It taught me that you can climb out of the depths of poverty. It led me to researching people who did climb out of the depths of poverty. It led me to my faith. Look at the positives in the situation. It made me a strong person. It made me grateful for what I had. List all the things that it did for you, that it built you up in a positive way. Other people. When my mother told me I wasn't worthy and made me feel that way, she showed me that some people can be very mean, and some people speak out of their own hurt of their heart. You know what? Turn it around into a positive, okay? And do that for all 3 categories. Work on that for a little while, and I'm going to work on part 2. If you have any questions, if you would like an appointment, if you want to join the manifesting group that's Mondays and Wednesdays, I'd love to have you. You can email me at LORIR, so Lori R, 248 at gmail.com. You can visit me at Facebook, www.facebook.com/graced by him one, or /higher ground 2. There's a place you can book an appointment right on those pages. Visit me on Twitter, visit me, or subscribe and like and subscribe here, comment. I love to hear from you guys. I really love the YouTube community. You guys are great. And I am on Patreon. I have not been over there for a while, but you guys mean the world to me. I'd love to keep doing this. I'd love to grow even more. So any kind of donations, and I know Patreon has that, but I'm not really set up yet for it. But what I'd like to do is anybody who gives $10 or more per month will get like a monthly forecast from me, okay? Or so $10 a month, if you could do that. PayPal.me/Light Insights. All right, just let me know you did it, because sometimes I don't see those kinds of things. All right, I will talk to you guys soon. See you for part 2.